Hello, welcome to Matburn. Today we've got Coach Omi Acosta. He is the NAIA National Coach of the Year and coaches at Life University, and they happen to be the NAIA National Champions this year. How's it going, Coach?
It's going great, man. How you doing?
As you noticed, I'm wearing my shirt for you, the Lucha shirt. It's the only one I
Yeah,
got, but you know, I've been saving it for this moment.
yeah. I'll hook you up with more, man.
Um, I got my guest host here, Shane Dempsey.
How are you, Coach?
And
Great.
Jeff Williams, he's one of our other bald brothers. He couldn't make it. He was a guy who kept pushing you out to like midnight for our show because he's so very busy. He's an old man wrestler. He's competing in BJJ Worlds. He goes to practice every night at clubs, and then he goes to BJJ practice on the nights off. And he's probably going to get divorced fairly soon. But he's got on his fifth round of COVID, I think. So, or at least that's his excuse. And as he knows, if he doesn't show up, he gets picked on. So, but he does have a son, Bradley Williams, who in eighth grade plays second in Alabama State. Shane Dempsey's son in ninth grade plays second in Alabama State. So,
I think he was a seventh grader, Scott. By the way,
oh, that's right. He was seventh. Well, he's going to be an eighth grader this year.
he's going to be an eighth grader this year.
Holy cow! I thought he was a freshman. Yeah, so he won't be a six-timer, maybe a five-timer.
Wow.
Yeah. So I was hoping that Jeff could be here so you could give him some advice on, what to look for in a college. But before we get into that, we'd like to talk about you. So, you grew up in the Dominican Republic and moved to Shane's stomping grounds where he grew up down in South Dade, Florida.
Yep.
And where did you go to high school? South Dade High School?
Yes, sir. South Dade High School down in Homestead, Florida.
Yep.
I read an article that said that you didn't win your state championship because you broke your arm.
Yeah, correct. That's correct.
Do you ever get over that?
No, as a competitor, you always wish you could go back, and maybe change different things, but God does things for a reason. So if I didn't broke my hand, during that time, probably would not be here talking to you right now. So some painful lessons are needed, to be able to, develop. So.
Yeah, well, you've had quite a remarkable life in your few years that you've been around. Yeah, how old are you right now?
I'm 31.
31, okay. But in that time, in that year you were in high school, you were on the team that beat Brandon, Florida. Brandon High School broke their 459 dual streak. And I'm good friends with Coach Kozar. I didn't know you were on that team until just a few minutes ago.
Yeah, it was a really cool experience. I didn't get to wrestle in it, but I got to fight with my brothers and cheer along them. It was a great moment, man. It was crazy. It was emotional. It was really really great to see South Day knock them off.
Yep. Now, Coach was Coach Balmaceda. Sorry, was he coaching there at that
Yes,
time? Was he the head coach?
yes. Coach B got the job, I believe, in probably 1996, I think, or something like that.
Yeah.
So he's been there for a while.
And
So
wow.
yeah, Coach B was my coach.
Yep. And Coach Duck, I'm assuming
Yeah.
you probably know Coach Duck real well. We
Oh
usually
yeah.
run to him when we're out of state wrestling in nationals. So it's good to make a connection with some of the guys, for sure.
Yeah, Coach Doug is a man. He's a great coach, man. A great
Well,
person too.
so that's a good segue. I know Scott and I were just talking offline a little bit, but did you get to prepare or wrestle any for like Fargo or any of the freestyling Greco when you were growing up?
I mean, I did wrestle freestyle and Greco every summer, but I was never able to go to Fargo. I never had I come from a single parent home, and we didn't have enough money for me to
Understand.
go to those big tournaments. So I never really got an opportunity to.
So after high school, you went off to a junior college. And what was the name of that?
Well, Bonzi, and it's located right outside of Chicago.
Okay, so why'd you pick that school of all of them?
The connection was that a lot of South Dade guys or Miami-Dade County wrestlers will go to a college named Harper College in Illinois, and they had a pipeline going there. But the coach I was coaching at Harper ended up going to Waubonsie, and my coaches always talk great of Coach Dale Gross, and I ended up following Coach Gross. I ended up going to Waubonsie.
So you did your 2 years there?
Yes.
And became a JUCO national champion?
Yes, sir.
So you can see the accolades are starting to pile up, and we're not even halfway done. So after Waubonsie, you transferred to Grandview, who is the NAIA powerhouse. So did you spend the next 2 years at Grandview?
Yes, sir.
And once again, national champion, NAIA national champion there. What was your weight class?
133.
133. I saw that you were a 106 in high school.
That was 106, 112, and 119 my senior year.
So, what do you weigh now?
Probably 151.
That's amazing, because Shane, I think, was the same size back then. He's like pushing 300 now, I think.
Yeah, not quite, but close. Yeah. Thanks for noticing.
Yeah.
Well,
he thinks it's the camera that's adding 10 pounds to him.
It is the camera.
50 pounds.
I'm a big guy, and my son's, he's built like my wife. He's just got a slender build. He's not a big guy. He's gotten tall, but lanky. He's just always been, a little bit on the smaller side. So of course, I wrestled through high school. All I knew was big guy wrestling. We don't lower our level. We don't attack legs, man. It's all upper body. So, to watch in our club that we have locally, their motto is we're going to be the best in the country on our feet. And Coach Shad Rissler, his focus is, attacking legs, high crotch, doubles, singles, etc. So, it's neat for me as a dad coach to sit back and watch. I'm like, I'm not going to lower my level, but you can, and you need to. So, but and 152. Scott, when were you 152?
Me? I graduated high school at like 130. And now I'm close to 250, so
awesome.
It's not good. I shouldn't have put that out on the camera, but I'll edit it. I'll lower it by like 50 pounds or something. So Coach, what got you to Grandview?
It was just actually goes back to my junior college coach. There was a coach named John Robinson. He's from Iowa, and his best friend in high school was a chiropractor that lived in Des Moines, Iowa. So he made that connection with Coach Mitchell, and he said that Mitchell was a good guy and everything. I actually signed somewhere else, but then my coach decided to not turn in the papers, and he just basically told me, Omi, you're going to Grandview. And I really liked the school. I liked the coaches, and he sold me on the dream that we were going to be, I'm going to win national title as an individual and as a team. And I believe in the dream, and I decided to move to Iowa. So it was a great experience for sure. Was
Grandview a powerhouse back then?
No, Coach Mitchell calls it the dark ages. It was, it's rough. They were good. They were up and coming. They had, a national champ or two. And when I first got there, I was not used to the Iowa winters. I was not used to that Iowa wrestling all the time mentality. So it took me a year to kind of like, as you can see, I had a really bad year my junior year. I didn't really adapt well. And I actually didn't want to wrestle. I wanted to go back to Sunny Beach, Florida, or Dominican Republic. And things happened, and I ended up deciding that I need to finish what I started. And I came back to Grandview, and then I bought in completely to the program. Because in the beginning, I was not buying in to what they were doing. And as you can see, when athletes don't buy into what their coaches say, things don't go as well. And I know that's a coach now. So I bought in. I did everything the right way, and I ended up winning a championship with the team and started, Grandview's dynasty. Won multiple national titles.
And now you're the coach at Life University. And did that chiropractor have anything to do with that?
No,
it's just a coincidence. Okay.
Yeah, it's a coincidence.
So, for the people who don't know, Life University is a chiropractic school, and it's like the hidden gem of wrestling and colleges in the South, as far as I'm concerned. When we went to school to visit it, we loved it, and it's a small campus, but it's got a really nice. I don't know what you call it. Like, it's sort of like a nice culture there, I thought, and it's quaint. I like the old. What's that old house that's near the gym?
Oh, the treehouse.
Is that what it's called? The tree house?
Yeah.
It was some cabin from 200 years ago or something.
Oh, the 19th century village where they have like the kind of like museum around the across the the trails that are around there.
Yes.
Yeah, really
Yeah.
pretty.
And one of the cool things you have at Life University also is the barn.
Yeah.
You train in? Why don't you talk about the barn a little bit? Because I can't do it
Well,
justice.
all that stuff is like how we talked about the Dark Ages when I was at Grammy in the beginning. A lot of things have changed. They're building us a brand new wrestling room. They're breaking ground sometime this month, and we don't train there anymore. Now either if we're on the upper gym, is our designated practice time, and we don't have to roll mats every day or do any of that stuff.
Yeah.
So we also have new dorms as well. So like if you remember the old ones that we had, now we have.
I remember they were building them when Manny went there, but yeah, I know they're finished now, and they're probably awesome from what I saw.
Yeah, so a lot of things have changed, since the beginning that I got here. Obviously, we got better at wrestling, so there's a little bit more more respect on that.
So how long have you been there?
And going to my 5th season.
So it only took you 5 years to become a national champion?
Or so, yeah.
Is that according to plan? Did you have the 5-year plan in place, or were you expecting it sooner?
In the beginning, when I first got to Life, it was kind of like, I was telling that to my peers the other day. I was like, man, wrestling in the South is not the same as in Iowa, and there's a lot of things that we could have, but we don't. But we focus on just performing and doing what we need to do to become champions, on and off the mat. So little by little, we started getting the things that we need, and we are where we are now. We fully don't have the wrestling facility that we want, but we're still gonna work hard. We're still gonna get good grades. We're still gonna graduate. So we focus on the things that we control. But little by little, we'll get there. You just have to keep grinding and working hard for the things that we want and the things that we believe in. I believe in my boss, Jamie Pendergast, and I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm doing, and she'll take care of me.
It's excellent. I do see that you practice what you preach as well in terms of grades. That you just finished your 2nd master's degree, and I think that's really incredible for a coach to do that when you have so much responsibility and time put into your program that you're able to complete your master's. What are your 2 master's degrees in?
My first one is in just exercise science. I got my undergrad in criminal justice and Spanish. It was kind of, I was a student athlete. I didn't know what I wanted to do, so I wanted to be a police officer at the time. And Spanish is easy for me; it's my first language, so it's kind of like I just got it done. But then I got my first master's in exercise science with concentration in coaching education, and that really helped me out a lot with coaching. We just how to run my program, kind of like a business. And then I ended up getting my master's this past year in positive psychology with a concentration in coaching. So it's basically what I do every day. I read motivational books all the time and all that stuff. It was kind of just taking time actually applying it to class and doing my homework and all that stuff and reading the same things I was going to read anyway. So it just was kind of like a no-brainer, and it was free, so you can't beat that. So
That's right. I like it.
What do you do differently now, coaching-wise, than you did before you got these degrees?
Man, when I first got the job here, I was kind of, I was wild, I was crazy. I was focused too much on winning at all costs in the beginning, which is normal for for a lot of coaches, and I didn't care about anything else. I just wanted to win, and if I lost, I would be upset and all that stuff. And as I got older, I guess, and I got better with having good mentors and stuff like that, I started looking at the bigger picture of like why I recruit guys to go to Life U, and the goal is to get a degree and compete at a high level. So I completely changed my mindset on worrying about winning or losing, but focusing on what we could do and what you could do as a person and how much can you become, when you're here. And that I noticed that made me a better coach. It took stress out of me, and my wrestlers fought more for me because they could see it in me that I care about them more than just winning a wrestling match. So I got the job here when I was, 20, 25, 26. I was pretty competitive, and it took a little bit for me to realize the big picture that small college wrestling, the percentage of the guys that go to Olympics and whatever is pretty slim. But however, the guys that you graduate from here and go on and get good jobs, those are the things that I want to create. Guys that win in the classroom or in competition, because that's what translate to to business, translate to whatever you want to do. So that's the change that I made.
Do they study successful coaches like John Wooden and Nick Saban and Bill Belichick and what their psychology and approach is to winning?
Yes. Yes, and is every coach, and it depends on the type of kid that you recruit. Like I like picking kids that are kind of similar to me, and they could like we bond right away. So I like getting guys that I know that I'm a click. Once I get a guy and I get them to buy in, which is the hard thing, and they believe in me, then they could run two walls for you. You're just creating that buy-in right away, and some guys might get it right away, and some guys might not. So my coaching philosophy that I got from the schooling that I did is just pretty simple. Is care, commit, compete. Those three C's are the building blocks of life you're wrestling. If you're a good guy and you care and you show up to class and you're a good human being and you're a good teammate, you're a good boyfriend, whatever you are, you're gonna be okay. The second C is commit. If you come in and you commit to being the best version of yourself every day, the best wrestler, the best student, you're gonna be okay. And then the final one is completely compete. So if you care, commit, and competing, whatever you do in your life, in business or in life, you're gonna be successful. So that's like kind of like the building blocks that we use at Life University Wrestling.
It makes me want to go. I love your philosophy. I mean, every coach should think that way. Shane, how much eligibility do you have for college?
Hey, we'll take you.
Yeah, you're talking.
You might want to look at Jeff Williams because you could get a twofer. You could get Bradley and Jeff still competes in veterans tournaments.
Okay.
Trains every day.
Well,
Yeah, you said they're big guys, right? They're hard to get, so I'll
That's
love
right.
to get some big guys.
well, so I was just thinking back, and Manny, Scott, your son Manny was, I think, one of the first local guys that may have gone to Lakeview for a visit. But I know we've had a few more that have gone. We have one of our Thompson high school wrestlers that just recently paid a visit since he's, it's a senior year. The pipeline is important, and you mentioned that earlier, Coach. Do you still tap like the South Dade program to, hopefully see if they can get a pipeline of kids from that area to you?
Like in Dade County, I'm pretty cool with like a lot of the coaches. I wrestle around the same time as them, and I build, recruiting and coaching is about building great relationships. And when somebody sends their kids to college, they trust you with their baby.
That's
So
right.
I make sure I do a good job to keep those coaches informed of how their guys are doing. If they're doing bad, if they're doing good, I let them know. And I keep those relationships. It's a two-way street. You're not just gonna get a kid and forget about the coach. I always talk to them, follow up how they're doing. If I'm in town, I stop by and run a practice for them, and those are the things that I want to do. And I want to do that all over the Southeast if it's possible, not just in Dade County. But yeah.
Yeah, you recruit heavily in Florida, don't you?
Yes.
Yeah, and you mentioned the Southeast. I mean, we're in the Southeast. Obviously, we're known for our football and baseball, but we're starting to produce some really good wrestlers out of the Southeast. And our programs do the same thing. Our club coach has a direct connection to his college, to his own where he graduated from. Our high school coaches have direct connections. And I know they rely on that a lot. They pick the phone up and say, hey, I have a kid I'd like you to look at. Obviously, Division I schools, different set of rules. For NAIA, what are the rules for you guys? Like, when can you start talking to a kid or talking to parents about, getting their kid recruited, et cetera?
NAIA is cool. We don't have as many like limitations as NCAA. So if I could start talking to a kid in 8th grade if I want to, we don't have
Awesome.
We don't have any limitations, If a baby's born and I want him to go to Life, I could recruit him right there,
Right.
But,
I like it.
But yeah, we don't really have limitations. Obviously, if you're part of a roster and you're actively going to school, we can't talk to you because that's illegal. But as long as you're in high school, or if you want to transfer to Life, as long as we do the right paperwork,
Yeah.
it's pretty easy.
That's good.
One thing you do a great job of is recruiting kids who went to Division I and Division II, and maybe didn't have success there or didn't like the school for whatever reason. You're able to get them to come to your school and have success at your school. What do you look for in those kind of students?
The thing is that everybody has a D1 dream. Like, I wanted to wrestle Division I, but then we have to have realistic goals too. When you wrestle in Division I, obviously, you have to be a great student, number one, because the NCAA, academics are top notch. Division I, and wrestling, that's cream of the crop. You're going against the best guys in the country every day in practice. That could be hard. That could be detrimental for a young kid coming out of high school. So when we get transfers and stuff like that, we make sure we tell them that no matter what, if they win or lose, we're still gonna love them and we're still gonna take care of them. We want to make sure they get a college degree. Because there's a lot of guys that put too much pressure on, going out there and competing. Oh, if you don't do this and compete at this level, you're gonna get your scholarship pulled or something like that. Like, here at LifeU, we don't take people's scholarship. If I sign to you this amount of money and you transfer, I'm not gonna take your money away if you lose. That's on me if you're losing, because I recruited you. So I take ownership on the guys that I bring in, and that's why a lot of those guys can see that I'm that real, recognized real. I'm a real guy with them. I tell them how it is, and they take that pretty well.
Yeah, that reminds me of a story Coach Kozar told me, that Joe went to Iowa State, and as a freshman he was an All-American, but his coach told him that wasn't good enough. After he busted his butt, and I remember Coach Kozar told me that he asked, I don't know why his name is slipping my mind, Kevin, who was the coach at Iowa State? Kevin
Jackson.
Jackson, yeah. Asked Kevin Jackson, did you All-American your freshman year? And he said no. He said, then why are you being so hard on Joe? And Joe transferred to NAIA and became a two-time NAIA national champion, and we spent summers with him, and he told us it was the best move he ever made. It took all the stress off him, and he learned to love wrestling again. He almost quit over that. So I think, for a lot of people, NAIA is a great way to go if you want to keep loving wrestling and don't look at it as a job. I think Division I, it's a job. It's a full-time job, and school is like secondary. They expect you to win at all costs, like the thing you're avoiding.
And that's and that's the the thing about Division I wrestling. Is great. It's awesome to see it on TV and stuff, but it comes with a cost, and we still treat our athletes like top notch. We still treat them like just because you wrestle at NAIA school doesn't mean that you're gonna take the back seat. We go out and compete against everybody. It doesn't matter if you go to the big schools and you got more funding or whatever. You still put the shoes the same way. You still practice the same. Yeah, they might have a little bit more funding and different things and cool gear that we don't have, but we're still gonna wrestle because wrestling is wrestling and wrestling doesn't lie. So that's a cool thing about it. That's why we have so many divisions, to find a place where you fit.
Yep.
Coach, do a lot of your guys get into summer wrestling, get into freestyle and Greco? Obviously, I think at the college level, guys aren't really taking time off. They're still working. They're working in the room. If they go back to their home state, a lot of our college guys, they come back and they work out in the room with our high school guys every day. So I kind of know how it works, but how are you guys with your wrestlers competing in freestyle or Greco off season?
Not as much as I would like, but we'll still give opportunities. Like, for example, last U23 World Team Trials, we had a couple guys go. We had guys go to beach wrestling and stuff like that. So not as much as we want, but we get into the point that we're gonna have a club where guys could go to those big events. Especially when the wrestling facility is built, we're going to be able to create more funds to be able to send those guys to the U.S. Open, be able to send guys to U23s and all that stuff. So just comes with time, and we're in school year round, like LifeU. We're on quarter, so right now we're in summer quarter, and we have like over 40 guys that that practice almost every other day.
Good.
But it's coming soon, and we'll be in the freestyle Greco scene, God willing.
We were talking to Coach Lee Miracle, Kayla's dad at Campbellsville, and he's a good guy. We're talking about why our Olympic Greco team is so bad. And one of his suggestions was that NAIA should start picking up Greco freestyle programs. And Shane and I think that's a fantastic idea. I was wondering what you thought of the possibility of that.
I know Williams Baptist had that, and a couple programs had it. I mean, I don't see why not. I mean, especially small colleges that need enrollment. Why not bring extra 20 guys that pay tuition? Why not? So I'm all for it. You just have to make sure that it's a good fit and bring good kids and good athletes. And I think that will actually be great for Greco, because right now, I mean, I don't even know the places where you could train like Greco full time. I know Northern Michigan and maybe the Olympic Training Center will be the only spot that I know.
Where does the Army train?
Probably Colorado Springs too, maybe. I'm not sure.
Yeah, there aren't a lot of places, and we're not going to get any better leaving it the way it is, apparently.
Yeah.
So, Coach, what else? I see you got your bike hanging in the background. What else do you do for cardio and to stay in wrestling shape, but not just the day-to-day, getting on the mat? Do you climb? Do you, hike? Do you bike? Obviously, yes. But what else do you do to keep yourself in good shape?
I try to do I work out. I try working out every day. I love the sauna. It's a great, I like sitting there and just thinking. I like to stay in shape because, I'm still young, so guys still call me out. So, when they call me, I have to make sure they know what's up. That if they're gonna call me out, I can still go out and compete. But obviously, the guys around my way, I'm not gonna wrestle on a 97 pounder. But I got my coaches. But I try staying active and practice what I preach. I love cooking. I make sure I eat healthy meals and make sure I'm doing the right things on my job. So my guys can see that I'm not just telling them how to live their lifestyle. I actually I practice what I preach.
Yeah, sounds like it so far. I mean, short interview, man. You definitely you've said the same thing frequently in the same path, and it's good to hear that. I mean, if you're obviously a man of conviction, you have beliefs, and you put those beliefs into your guys, and they believe you and trust you, and that's how you win a legacy, man. That's how you grow a program. And it sounds like you're doing the right things right now. So, man, we're definitely stoked for you.
Yeah, well, it reminds me of the story, the funny story that I tell from time to time. When Manny went to your program, the very first week he called me up and he said, "Dad, I think I joined the track team instead of the wrestling team."
It's funny.
Yeah, because he couldn't have anticipated how much running you do. Is that still part of your program?
Not as much as long distance running. Now it's more like short sprints. We start wrestling earlier now than we did back at that time.
Yeah.
But the reason why we do things like that, it's not even because obviously I'm not trying to make track stars or cross country stars, but it's just the mental aspect of running. Running is tough and everybody hates it. So you're just trying to put guys in situations where they're going to feel challenged.
I've always felt that
they hate running.
Yeah, I've always felt that long distance running isn't really designed for the way people wrestle. It should be explode and recover, explode and recover. But some people still hold on to, we got to run miles and miles. And I never understood why coaches didn't adapt faster.
Yeah, 100%. Like I noticed that the less run that we did, the less knee and ankle injuries, we had. So I do what you kind of say. Like, yeah, we do, like, for example, probably like our first practice, we just do like a 3-mile thing, and then after that it's like short sprints, and then next thing you know, in a week or two, we're already on the mat wrestling every day. So it's just kind of like to break them in. And the other day I posted a message that if you can't run a mile in 7 minutes and 30 seconds or so, like, you're not getting on the mat. So they're gonna come in and all run a mile under that time. So it's just kind of like motivational, because nobody likes doing it, so we do it anyway.
So that rules Shane out. I guess he's off the team.
Yeah, rules you out too, pal.
Yeah. I've got so many other offers, though.
I'll sit in the sauna with you. And
wife has a bowling team, I believe.
Yeah, we do.
That if I can run a mile in like 20 minutes, I can be on the bowling team.
Yeah, I don't know what their requirements are for bowling, but they still lift. I know that they still get weight training with our weight training coach and everything. So I'm pretty sure. I don't know if they run a lot, but I'm sure they're lifting.
That sounds right up my
16-pound
alley.
curls.
Yeah.
16-pound curls. One arm.
Yeah.
How heavy is that ball?
I like it.
Is it 16? Or you do the shot put too, I suppose. The wife is also extremely famous for their rugby team.
Mm-hmm.
Do you ever bring them into the room and show them that they're not as tough as they think they are?
No, actually, I'm pretty cool with the rugby coach. He's a good guy. Obviously, he's won multiple national titles. So you want to talk to people that are like-minded, like you want to win. So he's one of the good coaches that I talk to. And I also help out with the Atlanta rugby professional rugby team. They pay me to teach them how to wrestle. So that's pretty cool.
I would-
Wrestling.
I would think they'd want to recruit wrestlers. Are they trying to poach your team?
No, I don't think so. They still get their guys from overseas and stuff. They just want to learn like how to take people down the right way and how to do it and how to land and stuff like that. So I actually learned a lot of rugby. It's a pretty cool sport. It's tough. I don't want to get hit by no big dude.
Yep.
For sure.
Yeah, it is a physical sport, man. Those are some tough guys, I will say. And we've seen a lot of that locally and a lot of the youth clubs is we're seeing more guys coming in from, Brazilian jiu-jitsu or judo that, they want to learn how to strike and they want to learn how to lower their level in attack and, do takedowns, which is really cool because a lot of our wrestlers are, they want to go experience that Brazilian jiu-jitsu. A little bit awkward. Usually they're really good at takedowns, but then they realize, I don't want to go on my back. I just don't feel comfortable in that position. Which is again, fun. And back to the point of, everything that's available for our guys now in the wrestling world. I know my son gets usually not just school workouts in, but he likes going rock climbing, because for him, he's like, man, it really helps me with my grip strength and they get to have fun while they're doing it. So I guess, that new world order that we're looking in back in my day, there wasn't club wrestling. There wasn't youth wrestling. I took 2 weeks of my physical education class in middle school and they taught us how to do basic takedowns and after high school football, the question was, what are you doing? And it wasn't really a question. They were kind of telling you, you're a big guy, you're going to go wrestle. So I look at my son now and I look at a lot of these younger wrestlers, the opportunities that they have that are available to them. But again, it's kind of back to what you said. It's coaching and having a like-minded coach, somebody that, believes in you and puts their faith and trust in you to get you to open up and trust in them. Because that's probably one of the hardest parts is, getting a kid to open up sometime. They don't, they're still kids, so you have to adjust that. I got to imagine, you're dealing with 18 through maybe 24-year-old kids, they're coming into their own, they're getting IDs so that they can go out. How tough is it, keeping guys like, hey man, you got to stay focused. You can't come to life and, it's not all about the party. And I've had some college guys that have come back and, they, in respect of, what they were and what they've done now, they've looked back and said, man, I really wished, maybe my first year I was a little bit more focused on wrestling and competing versus, going out and picking up with my friends and, having fun. But how tough is it to, to kind of keep them corralled, if you will, keep them all in the same circle?
I got this from my buddy, Scotty Santos. He's the head coach at Campbell. If you want to go and he said something like, if you want to go out at night with the Owls, you better wake up to soar with the Eagles. So
awesome. I like that.
So it comes down to, I'm not gonna lie to you until you life you guys don't party. I mean,
yep.
It's all about, finding the right time and the right place to do the things that you need to do. So during season, there's no partying. If you get caught, if you don't follow the care, commit, compete during season, you're not gonna be on the team. If I find out you're partying, you're gonna be out the team. Yep. However, after season, as long as they're keeping their grades up and they're doing what they need to be doing, they're gonna be college kids and they need to be able to experience that. I had the best times of my life, at Grandview in Iowa, and I found out the things that I liked and I didn't like. And I got to go back to what my coach will say. Hey, when you go out and have fun, don't be the drunkest guy in the bar. All those little things, carry on and build character for my guys. So My guys, they go to work, they fight, but when it's season, it's season. They don't party, they don't hang out. If I find out they're doing it, then they're off the team, because it's not a democracy of life. It's a dictatorship. It goes how I say it. So if they don't follow the steps that we need to do to be great, they're not going to be here.
Yeah. The 3 C's are solid, man. You've got them laid out, and during the season you abide by those rules, and man, it's awesome. It sounds like you're focused, and I think your guys see that in you, and that's important. Obviously,
if you go out before school, if you go out before school, you clearly don't care or not committed to the program. So it's kind of like a simple math. You got to dumb it down for college kids. I don't make my philosophy like 10 pages long. It's 3 simple words, and if you don't follow it, you're not part of the team.
So I Scott, we may have skipped over this too. So Coach, you were assistant at the Coast Guard NAIA?
Yeah. Yes, I was.
So did that help you with getting, you came from a single family home. Did that kind of help you with some structure? I'm sure your mom or dad, your single parent, do a lot with structure, but I got to imagine, that military mindset maybe helped possibly, get you guidance and focused. And
so I was a coach at Grandview for 3 years till I graduated, and I ended up going to Coast Guard. It was a complete different change, because it's a different type of athlete that's at any military academy. They're respectful, they're on time, and you don't have to worry about the grades, and they don't party. So it's kind of like, they're just good kids to be around. And it was structured. It was a learning curve for sure, recruiting wise and all that stuff. But I learned under, Kevin Bracklin, who's the head coach over there. He's a great guy. He's a great friend of mine, a great mentor. And he kind of taught me like the other side of wrestling. That's not just wrestling all the time. There's a business side to wrestling. There's a lot of things that goes into being a wrestling coach, not just being good on the mat. So I give him a lot of credit for helping me realize that.
It was interesting when we started visiting colleges after high school, at the end of high school. Every college we went to, the coach promised me, including you, that they wouldn't leave. And every coach, except for you, left in the first year to go somewhere else for another opportunity. You're the only one who kept his word that you were going to stick with the program. Now that you're a NAIA national champion and coach of the year, you must be getting interest from bigger schools. Is that something that's attractive to you?
Yeah, but why would I go somewhere else if I'm getting taken care of here? Like a lot of people get caught up on the grass is greener on the other side, but is it really? Like I said, my boss is awesome. I had a conversation, with her I have conversation with her all the time, and like, she takes care of wrestling. She cares about wrestling, and where else will I find something like that? And I'm comfortable here, and obviously we're competing, we're tough, and why not here? Why not make this a dynasty here? Why go somewhere else and start somewhere from scratch?
They're building you a room. You got to stay and see what it's like.
Yeah, I definitely have to do that. So.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. That's a great mindset, Coach. I hope. Our little podcast that we like to do here with Matburn. I hope that your boss and your AD, I hope they all get to sit back and watch this, because that does speak volumes. I mean, your balance is important in life as well. Like you said, Scott, some of the D1 wrestlers, man, you're being hired to do a job, and the job isn't to focus on getting the best grades possible. It's to go help this school win a national championship. And Coach Omi, I know, yes, you want to win. I can tell you're a competitive guy, but your guys they do have to buy into that. Not just your guys, but the guys above you, the men and women that are running that school and believing in the program and helping build it. So, that's a good thing. And, again, it may not be for you to go and spend 80, 90, 100 hours a week in a room, wearing yourself out. When hey, I'm putting all my time in right now, and I got a good room, and it's starting to show. So, man, we applaud you for that, Coach. And I mean, so far, like I said, you've been right on point with everything. You're not backtracking. Everything is on point. I mean, this is good. And again, I'm thinking now as a dad, because
But one
Honestly,
thing I'd like
since
to do is
yeah, for sure.
we'll take Shane and Jeff and their two kids, and we'll come out to Life University, and we'll do a show from there. We'll cover one of your matches if that's all right. If you don't mind us making the trip over there, it's pretty close to us, so I
Yeah,
think
man, you're welcome. You're welcome anytime, man. Like, we're gonna have our schedule coming out sometime soon, so I'll make sure to share it. And you're welcome anytime, man. You just let me know, and we'll make you a celebrity. We'll put you right on the mat so you can get all the experience.
yeah, I get a new shirt, don't I?
Of course, I'm gonna mail you guys one. So after this, send me your
Oh,
address.
that'd be
I'll
great.
mail you some more. You'll
Make
get
him
them.
make him wrestle for it. He's got to wrestle.
He should make us come pick it up, and that way we'll come visit it.
Yeah.
So just three more things I wanted to cover. One thing that I learned when researching wrestling for college that a lot of people don't realize is how limited scholarship opportunities are for NCAA schools. If you want to go Division I, they're limited to 9.5 scholarships for their entire team. So if they give out 9 full scholarships to their top 9 guys, then they've got a half a scholarship to give to the rest of the team. And you got 10 guys on the team on the starting lineup, right? So you can't even fund your starting lineup with a full scholarship. So when you and every Division II has probably 14 scholarships maybe, and 100 people in the room, and then Division III doesn't have any scholarships. They're all academic. So if you really need help paying for school, NAIA is the way to go because the scholarships are unlimited, aren't they?
Not unlimited. It depends how your program is funded. Like, for me, it's a little bit similar to a Division II school. We're enrollment driven, so the more numbers that you bring, the more scholarships you have. So it just depends on the type of institution that you're at.
So how many wrestlers do you have on scholarship right now?
On scholarship, probably 100 or so.
Yeah, see, there's a big difference. Yeah, so you get a room of 100 wrestlers at a time. Is that what you have?
Well, right now we got, right now I would say I have the biggest wrestling room in the country because we have basically, like, you remember the upper gym is just a huge basketball gym, and we fill it with mats, so we could fit a whole bunch of people. But I think as soon as the new room is built, that's obviously not going to be as big. So we're definitely going to have to shrink down a little bit to get, to make sure our student athletes are taken care of.
Yeah. And you have a pretty good women's program there with Ashley Sword as the coach. And so I assume you got to share the space with them. Mm-hmm. How do you manage that?
I mean, it's pretty simple. It's just time management, time scheduling. Her practice at this time, mine's at that time. I try not to go over, which sometimes I do. So I'm sorry, but we just she goes in at a time, and then I go in at different times. So we have every day we have different times. Sorry, my dogs are. I
am surprised my dog has been this quiet the whole time.
Yeah.
So
I had to mute mine because my dog was having a seizure and coughing. Right there with you guys.
Yeah, you should be on the shows where we live stream the NCAA matches, and his wife is screaming in the background at the television. It's pretty funny. Let's see, what else is I going to go over? Recruiting. What kind of wrestler are you looking for, and why should they go to Life University, and how can they get in touch with you? Give us sell your program.
All right, so basically what I look for is lucha, which means fight. That's one thing that's hard to, I don't care if you're good or bad at, wrestling accomplishments or anything like that, but if you show up and you have fight every day, you're going to be okay, anything you do in your life. So, you can teach anybody how to wrestle, but you cannot teach somebody how to fight. So I like guys that come in with a chip on their shoulder and want to wrestle and compete at a high level. And obviously I want guys that are going to follow the 3 magic C letters, care, commit, compete. If they do that, they're going to be okay. And you could tell, by, I find out through the high school coaches, wrestling is a small knit community. So I usually call a coach and be like, hey, what do you think about this guy? And I take a lot of risks on some guys that are kind of like maybe similar to how I was back when I was their age. And I believe that wrestling is a tool that coaches could use to make change, to make better men. So if I feel I'm going to take a risk on someone, I'll go and I take it. And I'll try my hardest to save them. But sometimes, they might not want, you try whatever you can as a coach to do, and they don't want to do it for themselves. So they won't make it here at LifeU. So they have to go somewhere else. and we'll help them go somewhere else. So I just look for guys that like to fight and want to care, commit, and compete about their their wrestling program. And if you want to follow us on social media, Life Your Wrestling on Instagram, Twitter, you can follow us at us, whatever. And if you have any questions about wrestling, recruiting, or anything, just send us a direct message. We try to have a big presence on social media, and we take pride of that. And that's a great tool that coaches could use to recruit and get guys that they want.
Great. And your tuition is extremely low. We should mention that too.
Oh yeah, tuition's, yeah, I think full room and board, tuition and everything, and meals is about 24,000 a year.
Yeah, all in. That's the same as going to UAB or Auburn or Alabama. So there's not an out of state tuition, right? It's the same for everybody.
Yeah, we're private, and like I've been here for a couple of years, and I mean, obviously, Manny came here. It's kind of hard, reaching out to Alabama kids. So this year so far, we're getting some really great Alabama kids come in and checking out the school. So I'm really proud of that. I'm really happy about that. So
Yeah, well, I'm a big fan of your program, which is why I wanted to have you on. So hopefully we can get some Alabama kids to learn about your school because even though you're national champions, you're probably not as well known as a Grandview.
Yeah.
Or yeah, but you should be. So we'll get the word out. I also, speaking of Grandview, one of my last questions was, how did it feel to beat your old school, who were perennial NAIA champions?
Everybody, asked me that question. And it's kind of like, I love my coach. I love Grandview. I love what it did for me. But when it comes to wrestling, it's wrestling. It could be my grandma, and I'm not trying to beat her, period. So just nature of the game, man. Like, it's hard. It sucks because I hate watching, my alma mater lose, but it had to be done. It's my business now. Wrestling is my job. So sometimes your idols becomes your rivals, and you have to take them down, man.
So was your coach proud of you?
I'm sure he is. I'm sure he was. I mean, he told me, like, no matter the outcome, he loves me anyway, and that's the relationship that we have is beyond wrestling. So when he's wrestling, he probably hates me, and I probably hate him too. When it's outside of wrestling, it's like I said, I call him. He gives me advice all the time, and he's a great guy to have around. Same thing with assistant coach Paul Reedy. Like, I could call that dude right now. Hey man, this is going on. I need some advice, and he'll pick up his phone and talk to me. So wrestling is not just competing. It's about the lifelong relationship that you make and you have forever. So it's a brotherhood that never goes away.
How important is it to you to get somebody who is a state placer or a multi-time state placer or a state champ come into your program?
It's big, obviously. If you come in with cool accolades and you fight and you have the three, care, commit, compete. We would love to have you. And I tell kids this: like, if you want to come and be the superstar of life, that's probably not going to happen because we recruit some hammers that want to fight every day. And the cool thing is that you can see the progress. You get a high school kid that comes in that was a state champion or whatever, they'll get way better every year. By the time they actually wear a Life You single and step up, they're going to be ready to go. They're going to be war ready. And that's the type of room that I have. We have a room full of, just badasses everywhere, from 125 all the way to heavyweight. And that just, pressure builds diamonds. And, we're just some tough dudes that like to fight. And, if you come in and embrace that, you're going to be okay and you're going to be a badass.
What kind of grades and test scores are you looking for?
Just that, regular test scores, it'll be, 2.5 GPA and a, 20 on the SAT or something else on the SAT, like a 980. Just average scores, nothing crazy. We're not Harvard. It's not hard to get into Life You. It's pretty average.
Right, but if you get in and you maintain a 3.0 or so, you can become a doctor.
Yeah, and the cool thing is that there's, like, for example, there's different aid that aid depend on your grades. If you come in with good grades, you might get more financial aid. So like, I only control wrestling money, but if you come in with really good grades, you may qualify for some grants based upon your GPA and based upon what you want to major in.
Well, that's great information. I'm really thankful you came on the program. I'm hoping we can find a few gems to send your way and continue your winning tradition now that you've established it. So congratulations on being Coach of the Year, National Champs, and getting your second Masters. Keep up the good work, Coach.
Hey, thank you. God bless you guys. Have a great night.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you. Matburn out.
Matburn is out.